cyber resilient development. So this will be known in the future as tied here to Ghana, the Accra Call, which is a really important document. It's an action framework. It's not just another document. It's not just another declaration. It is an action framework drawing from existing shared commitments and ongoing relevant efforts in international fora and processes. The Accra Call is meant to be both a blueprint and a motivation for voluntary action by a whole host of stakeholders. And it's specifically to strengthen the role of cyber resilience as an enabler for sustainable development, to advance demand-driven, effective, and sustainable cyber capacity building, actually listening to what's needed rather than just thinking you know what's needed and layering it on, foster stronger partnerships and better coordination, and finally to unlock financial resources and implementation modalities for cyber resilience, get that resource imbalance addressed. We invite all stakeholders to identify how they can contribute to the Accra Call's action framework and pursue the actions within their mandates and processes. This is an inclusive process. A key dimension of the Accra Call community will be learning from each other and using the next GC3B iterations to create positive feedback loops on our collective progress and maturity trajectory. The GFC will help shepherd this process based on the consolidated role as a trusted, neutral convener for the global cybersecurity capacity building community, which brings me to the role of the GFC and the lessons we have learned over the last few years. A lot has happened since, and we've really come a long way since we were established in 2015 at another important juncture, the Global Conference on Cyberspace that was hosted in The Hague, and actually a process that was begun by the UK Foreign Minister Hague, so it was a Hague process. And so our organization was launched at that point. And the idea was to create a truly global and diverse network, which now has over 200 members and partners, that helps set the agenda that was unanimously endorsed in the Delhi communique on the global agenda for cyber capacity building in 2017. So 2015, 2017, the global agenda. And we've now created a meaningful platform for cooperation and coordination along with the key themes of cybersecurity capacity building. As we kept maturing, we strengthened the GFC ecosystem to support our capacity building efforts. Most notably, we established the GFC's working groups to foster collaboration, support, thought leadership, and peer-to-peer learning in a number of core areas. We set up a clearinghouse function to support the matching of cyber capacity building demand with supply and enable meaningful cooperation at the national level. We also created something we call the CIBL portal, CIBL Knowledge Portal, which includes not only existing global mapping of cybersecurity priorities, but over 800 products, best practices that is available to everyone, and that's cibleportal.org, and any of you can go and take a look at that. We launched this global cyber capacity building research agenda to build evidence base for cyber capacity building, and most notably, and most importantly, we help connect national cyber capacity building ecosystems with their regions, and the regions with the international level, through our network of regional teams and hubs in Africa, the Americas, the Pacific, and Southeast Asia. And that's important because although this is a global issue, it's also a local and regional issue. I'm therefore very confident that our experience in improving the global cyber capacity building ecosystem will allow the GFC to continue playing a critical role to ensure consistent follow-up to the outcomes of this GC3B. Our commitment to being a neutral convener and serving the public good will ensure that collective progress achieved here in Accra is sustained, and this is not just a one-off conference, but a process and a road forward. So over this road in the years to come, the Accra Call for Cyber Resilient Development shall serve as our lighthouse as we redouble our efforts to mainstream cyber resilience across national and international development agendas, promote cyber capacity building that supports broader development goals, and strengthen our partnerships. So finally, in closing, I would like to express once more my gratitude to the government of Ghana for helping us put this together, the inaugural GC3B, and for hosting us here in Accra. It's a clear demonstration of Ghana's leadership and commitment to advancing cyber capacity building. And once more, I want to thank all of you for being here. And before I leave the stage, I want you to all give a big hand to yourselves for being here, being part of this process, and good luck over the next 2 days.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris Painter, President of GFCE Foundation Board. And ladies and gentlemen, as you're giving a round of applause, please also welcome Mr. Pierre Laporte, World Bank Country Director for Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone.
Honorable Senior Minister and Presidential Advisor, Honorable Minister for Communication and Digitalization, fellow representatives of international organizations, I will go by the protocols already observed by the Minister and others, and I welcome you to the conference today. And good morning to you. I'm very pleased to represent the World Bank here as one of the key supporters and co-organizers of this global conference for cybersecurity building, alongside other partners such as the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, World Economic Forum, and the Cyber Peace Institute. As you may know, since June this year, the World Bank has a new president, Ajay Banga. Ajay often points out that development delayed is development denied. And this is very much applies to cybersecurity capacity building. From Albania and Costa Rica to Kenya and Bangladesh, we have seen in the past year or two the kind of impact that cyber incidents can have in developing countries. They can shut down entire governments for weeks or cut access to electricity for the most vulnerable groups. Globally, their costs to society amount to about 6% of GDP. So there is a sense of urgency here, and business as usual is not an option anymore. We, the development community, must find innovative ways to reach the speed and scale needed to deliver better results. For the World Bank, it has become clear that we cannot achieve our goals and realize our vision, a world free of poverty on a livable planet, without cyber resilience. That's why at the World Bank, we have significantly increased our commitment to cybersecurity. Our multi-donor trust fund now manages about 20 million US dollar of grants, which provide expert technical assistance to developing countries, for instance, to assess cybersecurity maturity at the national level. We are also increasing the part of our lending dedicated to cybersecurity. Currently, we have around 250 million US dollars in active or pipeline lending earmarked for cybersecurity across 60 countries. Overall, our investments and partnerships with developing countries aim to build capacity to effectively manage cybersecurity risks. At this point, please allow me a few minutes to acknowledge Ghana's achievements in this area. As you can see, we are gathered here in Accra today to discuss how the development community can best enhance cyber resilience. We are often asked if there are cybersecurity good practices or success stories that could be replicated and scaled up. Ghana is probably one of the most striking cases. Just a week ago, the World Bank published a result story on how Ghana managed to become a regional leader for cybersecurity. According to data from the International Telecommunications Union, Ghana ranks first in West and Central Africa and third on the African continent. This year, the Cybersecurity Authority in Ghana reached a staff level of 100 and has managed to support the emergence of a vibrant cybersecurity ecosystem throughout the country. Since the very beginning of Ghana's journey towards cyber resilience, the World Bank has been working closely with the government to support these efforts. We have been supporting digital transformation in Ghana for more than 15 years now, starting in 2006 when we launched the eGhana project, which was followed by the eTransform Ghana project in 2014, and in June this year, the Ghana Digital Acceleration Project became effective. And we aim to replicate and upscale this model across other countries. So in closing, the example of Ghana shows that with forward-looking policies and investments, developing countries can make impressive strides towards becoming more cyber resilient. I hope their success story can inspire other countries as well. And on this note, let me thank you and wish all of us a very fruitful conference. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we express our gratitude to Mr. Pierre Laporte, let us also welcome from the World Economic Forum the Head of Industry and Partnerships, Mr. Akshay Joshi.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank our host country, Ghana, the Cybersecurity Authority, our partners from the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, the Cyber Peace Institute, and the World Bank Group, together with the efforts of various steering group members for the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building, without whom we wouldn't be here today. We are in an age of multiple crises: geopolitical, economic, climate, energy, food, etc. The World Economic Forum every year publishes a report at Davos called the Global Risks Report. Against these multifaceted challenges, widespread cybercrime and cyber insecurity continue to feature among the top 10 risks. If we go further, within the top 5 risks identified by respondents of our survey, attacks on critical infrastructure, cyber attacks, continue to feature as well. If we look differently, cyber is also a massive threat multiplier. Take the example of an energy crisis. We all saw what happened when the Colonial Pipeline incident took place and disrupted the supply across the east coast of the United States. If we think about the food crisis, the attack on JBS demonstrated a similar story. Data from the FBI also reveals that whenever there is an economic crisis, it is accompanied by an uptick in cybercrime as a whole, if we go back to the crisis from 2008. The Honorable Minister highlighted a number of challenges that are being witnessed in Ghana and the broader continent. These are challenges we continue to see in different parts of the world, and cyber is truly interconnected with pretty much everything we do as of today. The Center for Cybersecurity at the Forum also publishes each year a Global Cybersecurity Outlook report. This year's edition was particularly interesting because 93% of cyber leaders and 86% of business leaders believe that geopolitical instability is likely to result in a catastrophic cyber attack over the next 2 years. As Chris pointed out, rapid advances in transformational technologies are making this landscape even more complex. Generative AI is widely believed to have shifted the balance in favor of attackers as opposed to defenders. Despite the growing complexity, there is a global shortage of roughly around 4 million cybersecurity professionals. In the Global Cybersecurity Outlook report that we publish, nearly 60% of leaders rank talent recruitment and retention as the key challenge for managing cyber resilience. No entity working alone can solve these multifaceted challenges, and the need for public-private cooperation has never been more pronounced. This was the reason the World Economic Forum set up the Center for Cybersecurity in 2018 to provide an independent and impartial platform to reinforce the importance of cybersecurity as a strategic imperative and to foster global public-private collaboration at scale to address some of these systemic cybersecurity challenges. With over 150 partners, we work on a number of initiatives that spread across building cyber resilience, strengthening global cooperation, and navigating digital frontiers. In this pursuit, the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building, under the theme of Cyber Resilience for Development, presents a unique opportunity to unlock global public-private cooperation and ensure the benefits of digitalization can be translated equitably to nations, industries, and individuals alike. We are delighted to support the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building, which is much more than just a conference, and are confident that the deliberations over the next couple of days will result in concrete action and impact. Thank you very much for your support.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to bring to the stage Madam Francesca Bosco, Cyber Peace Institute Chief Strategy and Partnerships.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, on behalf of the Cyber Peace Institute, I would like to thank you all for being with us today for actually what Chris was mentioning. It's a milestone. It's a milestone in our forward-looking journey towards building cyber resilience for development. I'm proud today and for all the journey that brought us here that we have partnered with esteemed organizations such as the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, and the Government of Ghana to realize a first-of-its-kind flagship gathering underscoring the crucial role that cyber resilience and capacity building play in advancing the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and emphasizing effective, sustainable, and inclusive stewardship of international cooperation for cyber resilience development. Countries and organizations are implementing digital solutions at a rapid pace. We heard Akshay, we heard Chris specifically mentioning the potential of economic and societal growth is enormous, but at the same time, we're living in an age of polycrisis, as the World Economic Forum has defined it, and also we are seeing how emerging technologies like AI are fostering enormous growth, but they are also opening new vulnerabilities and risk that needs to be addressed. While the development community continues to invest to achieve the SDGs by digitizing societies and building smart infrastructures, there is often an underestimation of the cyber risk and threats that come with increased use of ICTs and digitalization, or these risks and threats are not fully understood and addressed as a systemic challenge. Cyber insecurity can challenge and even unwind the progress that we are making. This growth is often cut short by limited understanding of the real impact and harm that cyber attacks are causing on one hand, and on the other hand, the problem is that the resources are often inadequate, infrastructures are inadequate, and also the cyber-related skills that are necessary for a collaborative approach for long-lasting cyber resilience are not there yet. And civil society organizations that I'm representing here today play a fundamental role in contributing to ensure safe and secure sustainable development. They're often the one closest to people. They're often the one closest to us all, both, I would say, in peace and, as we are also seeing, in wartime. Civil society organizations are key because they can also define cyber capacity building needs and enable impactful solutions, from awareness raising, training and education activities, closing the cybersecurity workforce gap, and also operationalizing principles for capacity building in a diverse and inclusive manner. It's time, really, for co-designing together an international multi-stakeholder cyber capacity building agenda to create the cyber resilient societies, starting from the backbone. And we at the Cyber Peace Institute, we are an NGO that works with vulnerable communities to safeguard and strengthen the resilience both of critical infrastructure and civilian infrastructure, and of critical actors like other civil society organizations providing populations with vital services. We firmly believe that this conference is a unique opportunity to create a long-term action plan between cybersecurity and development communities, international and national levels, with a truly diverse and inclusive multi-stakeholder approach. Directly, as Cyber Peace Institute, we are contributing in closing the gaps by raising awareness on the societal impact of cyber attacks, thanks to our platform, on advocating for responsible cyberspace behavior and IDing victims with innovative solutions that are built on collaboration and skills development together with the public and the private sector, like the Cyber Peace Builders program. As a proud member of the civil society organization community, we firmly believe in the importance of joint initiatives, and the Institute is committed co-organizer of this conference, but also a supporter of the APA call, and you will learn more about it in the next 2 days. Today's gathering is a unique opportunity to raise awareness of how cybersecurity and cyber capacity building support digital, social, and economic development in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, to call for donors' commitment. We need commitment, and we need, let's say, a truly multi-stakeholder and impactful approach, and we also need to share knowledge, to share practices, and this is why we are all here today. It's a stepping stone towards a new agenda, a new also, let's say, operational plan, I would say, even more than an agenda, on cyber capacity building, diverse, inclusive, where digital transformation, sustainable development, cybersecurity, and human rights are fully integrated, and there is a serious commitment to support this agenda. Again, thanks to the government of Ghana, my fellow co-organizers, and you all, Demedi to the beautiful Accra, and also that all the people that are following us online. We can make a real change in achieving cyber resilient development only by acting together. Thank you.
Another round of applause for our first set of statements, finishing off with Madam Francesca Bosco, Cyber Peace Institute of Chief Strategy and Partnerships. Ladies and gentlemen, as is custom in Ghana, we'd like to extend our gratitude to the people who take time off their busy schedules to come not only in support of us, but also their presence to us means that they are placing this conversation at the forefront of their work or their business or their communities. Please allow me to acknowledge the presence of the Osumanche in the person of His Royal Majesty Noche Professor Ninote Owo IV, who is joining us. Also here present is the Deputy Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Honorable Amapuma Boateng. In our presence is the Director General Kofi Annan ICT Center of Excellence, Dr. Collins Yeboah Afari. Also here in our presence is Madam Patricia Edusei Poku, who is the Data Protection Commission Executive Director, which is a member of the Joint Cybersecurity Committee, otherwise known as JCC. Madam, you're very welcome. Her Excellency, the Ambassador of South Africa, Madam Grace Jeanette Mason, is also here joining us. Thank you very much, Madam. The German Ambassador, His Excellency Regine Greenberger, is also here. Where is our Regine? Yes. You're very welcome, Madam. Last, definitely not the least on my current list, I want to acknowledge the presence of Member of Parliament, Honorable Sam George, also joining us here today. He's just about to take his seat. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to our second part of our statements, and these statements will be by our international partners and collaborators. Please allow me to bring to the stadium Miss Alison Treppel, who is part of the Organization of American States and the Executive Secretary at Inter-American Committee Against Terrorism. Madam.
Thank you so much, and good morning to all. All protocols being observed. My sincere thanks to all of the organizers of this event, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, the Cyber Peace Institute, and of course the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, as well as the Government of Ghana for welcoming us all to this event. For me personally, it is my first time stepping foot on the African continent, and I have been truly impressed by the beauty, the warmth, and now the fashion prowess of the Ghanaian people. In 2015, the Organization of American States became a founding member of the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, the GFCE, because we recognized then the value in and the need for greater coordination of cybersecurity capacity building, both regionally and internationally. I personally have been participating in GFCE-sponsored events since the 2017 meeting that took place in Brussels, and I am thrilled to see how this forum, how this community of cyber experts has grown since then. Today, the GFCE has not just a fully functioning and operational secretariat, but as Chris mentioned earlier, there are today 4 regional hubs, 4 technical working groups, a foundation, and numerous services such as the clearinghouse mechanism and the civil platform that are at the disposal of all. This growth of the forum and this conference. I'm just going to adjust your microphone. Sorry. This conference and the forum is the result of global collective will and commitment to strengthening cybersecurity capacity building. Our region of the Americas is certainly committed to this goal, and I am so pleased that at least through our region, 12 countries are actively participating in the work of this network and this conference, many of whom have been able to travel and join us here in Ghana. As the GFCE regional hub for the Americas, the Organization of American States continues to encourage other countries and organizations from throughout the Western Hemisphere to join this forum so that they too can benefit from the tools and opportunities that this community of public and private sector stakeholders, civil society, and academia offers. Because in a time, as we've heard from the distinguished speakers before me, in a time of geopolitical shifts, evolving technology, and complex cyber operations, cyber resiliency is absolutely critical for our collective security and development. And as we will hear over the next 2 days, one of the most impactful ways we can create increased cyber resiliency is through greater and more coordinated capacity building among the donor community, among the implementers, and among the beneficiary countries. And I think that is why we are all here today. Because everyone in this room, I hope, is committed to investing in the security of our digital economy, to together achieving our sustainable development goals, and to working together with diverse stakeholders across borders to meet these objectives. And I think that is the spirit of the ACRA call that is on the table for consideration as the outcome document of this process. And this document, just like the conference itself, again, reflects our collective commitment as public and private sector institutions, as international organizations, academia, and civil society to a single common goal: to strengthen cybersecurity capacity and resiliency across the globe. The OAS certainly remains committed to supporting these objectives and to coordinating with all of you, both within and outside of the Americas region, to create a more resilient and therefore a safer and more secure cyberspace for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Alison Chappelle. And now please welcome from UNOEWG First Secretary, OEWG Digital Corporation and Cybersecurity, Mr. Matthew Wong.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, good morning. I am honored to deliver opening remarks to you today on behalf of Ambassador Berhan Gafu, in his capacity as chair of the United Nations Open-Ended Working Group on Security of and in the Use of ICTs 2021 to 2025 and Ambassador of Singapore to the United Nations in New York. Ambassador Ghaffur extends his apologies that he is unable to join us in person today due to commitments that require him to remain in New York at this time. Ambassador Ghaffur's remarks are as follows. I want to begin by thanking the GC3B organizers for inviting me to deliver these remarks. I would also like to recognize the initiative of all the organizers in bringing the cyber capacity building community together today to have this crucial and timely conversation, and to extend my thanks to the government of Ghana for warmly welcoming us here in Accra. This year marks 25 years since states began deliberations on the issue of cybersecurity in the context of international security at the United Nations. Since the beginning of these discussions, capacity building has been a pivotal part of our work at the UN. In the words of the most recent annual progress report of the Open-Ended Working Group, the international community recognized that capacity building is an important confidence building measure. It's a topic that cuts across all the pillars of the OEWG's work, and that a holistic approach to capacity building is essential. Simply put, without sustainable, effective, and affordable capacity building solutions, we will not be able to achieve our collective goals for international security in this domain that is so critical to our modern economies and societies. Against this backdrop, I would like to offer some reflections from my perspective at the center of discussions at the United Nations for you to consider as you engage with the various panels and discussions over the next 2 days. First, as you engage in your discussions, I encourage you to consider how all members of the cyber capacity building community can build upon the work done at the UN on cyber capacity building in recent years. The consensus recommendations and conclusions agreed at the UN represent the unified collective voice of the international community, and in this regard can serve as useful guidance supporting your efforts to implement capacity building on the ground. For example, the consensus final report of the 2019 to 2021 OEWG contained a set of agreed principles of capacity building, which states concluded should guide capacity building efforts. Earlier this year, states again reaffirmed these agreed principles and encouraged further efforts to mainstream these principles within capacity building initiatives around the world. One productive step forward that the capacity building community could take at today's conference would be to consider how best to apply these agreed principles to your organization's capacity building programs and initiatives, and consider how these agreed principles would translate into specific action on the ground. Second, I invite you to consider how the capacity building community can work more closely together with the UN as a platform to amplify the reach and impact of your capacity building work, given the uniquely universal status of the UN. One way this could be done is by tailoring or aligning initiatives in response to specific needs collectively articulated by UN member states in the UN Open-Ended Working Group's conclusions and recommendations. For example, many of you might be aware that UN member states have agreed to set up a global cyber points of contact directory, which all states will be able to use to communicate with each other in the event of a cyber incident. The Points of Contact Directory is expected to be fully functional in 2024, and in the lead-up to its operationalization, the Open-Ended Working Group's second annual progress report recommended that states and/or groups of states in a position to do so could support capacity building with regard to the Points of Contact Directory, including in collaboration with interested stakeholders. In this regard, the conversations you will be having today and tomorrow could be a good opportunity to consider how your organization could specifically support states' needs relating to the Global POC Directory, as well as other specific needs articulated in the OEWG's various consensus reports. Third, I hope that after the GC3B concludes, you will bring the conclusions of your conversations at this conference to the United Nations, where they can be taken up by all UN member states. On 10th of May 2024, Ambassador Gaffo will convene a global roundtable on ICT security capacity building at the UN, as directed by UN member states in the OEWG Second Annual Progress Report. The aim of the Global Roundtable is to bring together capacity building practitioners, interested stakeholders, and state representatives to have a dedicated discussion on cyber capacity building at the UN for the first time. The sharing of insights drawn from your discussions at GC3B would undoubtedly enrich our conversation at the UN and would be a way to spread the reach of today's discussions beyond this room to the wider international community, including those states that are not represented here today. I also invite you to consider how the ideas that are sparked at today's conference could be formulated as specific proposals and recommendations that could possibly garner consensus at the UN. This would ensure that today's conversations result in lasting impact and would be an important contribution to our collective efforts to enhance capacity building at the global level. With these reflections, I wish all of you many fruitful and productive conversations today and tomorrow. I also hope to see some of you at our upcoming United Nations Open-Ended Working Group meetings in New York, as well as at the Global Roundtable in May next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew Wong. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I present the coordinator for cyber issues at the European External Action Service, European Union, Ms. Manon Leblanc.
Dear Excellencies, dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me start with thanking the government of Ghana, the co-organizers, and in particular the Global Forum for Cyber Expertise, for hosting us to the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building here in Accra. The development and use of technologies has increased globally and is supporting our economy, as well as technologies being misused for adverse objectives, affecting the foundation of our societies. This landscape, however, should not prevent us from continuing to explore the opportunities that the new digital era brings. And we need to make sure that we can all reap the benefits of these technologies, being the current or the future ones. Against this background, we are meeting here today and tomorrow in Accra, bringing together thought leaders across communities and sectors to debate, to innovate, and to pioneer with new approaches aiming to uplift cyber capacity building in our policies, investments, and development plans. And by doing so, we strengthen our partnerships to increase global cyber resilience. We encourage to invest in people, processes, and technologies that are vital to harness the benefits of this new digital reality. The EU has a long track record in cyber capacity building, and the 2020 EU cybersecurity strategy put an emphasis on it. We have significantly stepped up our investments to this end, partnering with countries around the globe. And we have put a need to cooperate to advance a global, open, stable, and secure cyberspace in every regional strategy of the European Union. Today, we invest an estimate volume in 150 million euros, including working with Ghana, and we are committed to continue to invest through specific regional and bilateral initiatives to enhance cyber resilience, cyber diplomacy, and to tackle cybercrime. As part of a Team Europe approach, we are currently preparing a regional initiative for cybersecurity in sub-Saharan Africa. The objectives of this action is enhancing cyber resilience and promoting a free, open, safe, and secure cyberspace in Africa. We are as well designing a program to step up our support in the Indo-Pacific region and continue to invest in Latin America and the Caribbean through our LAC4 Center, our regional hub for cybersecurity training and education, run by EU CyberNet, which is also here today. In our immediate neighborhood, we continue to cooperate to build capacities to address imminent cyber threats, sharing our good practices and aligning cybersecurity legislation. Furthermore, taking into account the rapid digital development, the EU is supporting partners through the Global Gateway in their digital transition, and in this, promoting cybersecurity by mainstreaming these efforts from the start. In light of the rapid digital development, the demand for capacity building is strong and increasing, and rightfully so. And that makes our discussions here today even more important. ensuring that we cooperate and coordinate with many partners, including industry, civil society, and academia. Such cooperation and coordination is not only key to meaningful allocations of scarce resources, but also essential to delivering effective and sustainable capacity building activities. The coming days will enable us to listen to each other and to learn from each other, to create a solid basis to work together to implement our ambition and take forward the Akrakal, which the EU is endorsing. It will allow us to not only improve our cooperation, but also to further mainstream cyber into development programming and contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. In addition, I look forward to see and understand how the work of our community will strengthen the multilateral discussions and cooperation on cyber capacity building, with cyber capacity building also being one of the main pillars of the UN Programme of Action as proposed. All in all, we have our work cut out for us. So, without further ado, I wish you all a most successful and impactful conference that will help increase global cyber resilience and us all to reap the benefits and the beauty of technologies. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Manon Leblanc. And now, please welcome the head of Cybersecurity Division from ITU, Mr. Osmani.
Good morning, Your Excellencies, guests and delegates and partners. On behalf of the International Telecommunication Union, I would like to address to you, and after hearing some of the speakers before me, I think I have to get off the script because Chris Painter painted very well the challenges we face as a community. So I think, I'll go off the script. I just would like to mention that ITU is not a stranger to you, so we have been in the forefront of driving digital development since 1988 in terms of cybersecurity. The X509 has been established, so your all communication via emails and so on has been based on that standard. So I think, we have long-term involvement in capacity building and strengthening the digital development. And I'm thankful to hear some of the delegates mentioning the Global Cybersecurity Index, which has been a driver for many nations to move forward on digital development in terms of cybersecurity. And then ITU is basically remaining a key partner in supporting countries in 4 different areas, which is incident response capabilities. I think our journey with Ghana started in 2013 and 2014 when we implemented the national CERT, and I think that collaboration goes on, and we work together with the minister and other entities in the country. Of course, besides working on the incident response capabilities, we help to build countries to help their cyber policy and cybersecurity strategies. We work also closely on cybersecurity inclusion, where we work on women issues, gender, closing the gap in cybersecurity, but also we work on child online protection. I think, many of the speakers mentioned that, so I would like to say, we forgot to mention the younger generations we are trying to address with this conference. So basic capacity building needs to start at early age, where ITU is being very much involved in that. We've been very active since 2007. So the child online protection guidelines have been there. In 2020, those guidelines have been updated with more than 100 partners supporting and contributing to that work. Also, what is important to mention, in 2021, we started to work on Women in Cyber mentorship program. I think, many delegates I've seen here have been part of that program, and also recently, we worked with Germany on her cyber tracks, basically trying to build, to bridge the gap between the diplomats and the technical community in terms of understanding what's going on in terms of cybersecurity and UN norms and commitments. So I think, the gaps are there, so we need to work as a community together. Yes, our involvement in the GFC since its inception has been there, and that one shows our strong commitment into international collaboration. The GFC community has been a good place where we share the resources, share information, we work together, and we address sometimes issues together. Of course, ITU is going to be continuing to work with partners. We would like to thank some of the countries who have been supporting our work, the UK government, the German, UAE, I think, the list is long, but, I would like to recognize that many countries have been supporting our work, and also I would like to also mention our private sector members, because as you know, ITU is the only UN organization which has sector members from a private. So I would like to thank also the NRD, which I see them in the room, Microsoft, and other partners who have been really instrumental in supporting our work to deliver for the membership in collaboration and information sharing. Of course, I would like also to thank Singapore for driving the open-ended working group, and collaboration with the CSA has been very great in terms of working together. So I think we would like to continue the collaboration. But in principle, also we would like to thank UN organizations. We work very closely with UNIDIR, with ODA and others. So our collaboration is based on sharing of information and avoiding any duplication of efforts, because I think as a community we have been sometimes duplicating the efforts. And I think we need to. I hope this conference, because Call of Accra, it's trying to tell us that we need to kind of move from words into action. I think we have been talking a lot about the capacity building, but I think we need to move into action. I hope this Call of Accra is going to be something which is going to create the roadmap for us to work together as a community. And I would like to thank you for listening to me. I wanted to keep it short. I went off the script because I think it was not important to mention what was repeated earlier. So I think thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to engaging with you and trying to see how we can work. You always have access to us on the Global Cybersecurity Index if you need to do interventions in the countries and understand what needs to be done, where the commitments are. Please reach out to us, and we work very closely with the Oxford on the CMM assessment. So I think please, we are here to support you. And we look forward to collaborate with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Orhan Osmani. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency Dr. Monique Nzanza Baganwa, who is joining us via video.
From the African Union Commission. I wish to take this opportunity to thank and congratulate His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, for his tireless efforts towards building a strong and resilient Africa. I would also wish to thank the people and government of the Republic of Ghana for the invitation extended to me to participate in this global gathering. It's a great honor for me to participate in this important conference, which deals with a current topic and which increasingly attracts our attention as actors and consumers of products and services in the cyberspace. I wish to extend my apologies to you for not being able to participate in person. Cybersecurity and cyberspace is that space of information generated by the global interconnection of information and communication systems, in which data is created, stored, and shared. It is the set of physical infrastructures installed in different countries and the intangible space in which this data, information, and ideas circulate. The space where interactions occur between individuals who are behind their screen everywhere in their world. This space presents opportunities and threats, including cyber threats, cyber sabotage, cyber espionage, cyber wars, and so on. The human, economic, political, and strategic consequences of these threats are
You brought us good luck. So please, an extra round of applause for him. Ladies and gentlemen, they say when life throws you lemons, you do what? Absolutely, this is life, things happen, but we keep moving on, and right on time. Assuming we're able to listen to the rest of the speech by Her Excellency the Deputy Chairman of the African Union, can we do that? Yes, kindly roll that video. Thank you.
Opportunities and threats, including cyber threats, cyber sabotage, cyber espionage, cyber wars, and so on. The human, economic, political, and strategic consequences of these threats are potentially very destabilizing for individuals, economies, and for states. The generalization of teleworking, the digitalization of our society, the time spent online, and the Internet of Things represent real opportunities for hackers, scammers, and online criminals. Unfortunately, there are no signs of improvement, and no one or no institution is safe. Your Excellencies, danger is everywhere and threatens individuals, businesses, international organizations, and governments. Some attacks even target social structures, such as hospitals and schools. This is why it is essential to collectively become aware of the multiplication of avenues of attacks and put in place common measures to limit the risks. The challenges of cybersecurity are numerous, with the human, technical, conceptual, and legislative dimensions. In addition to the legal arsenal and defense equipment, education and awareness are very effective methods to combat threats. The extraterritorial nature of most attacks calls on countries to greater cooperation in the prevention, tracking, identification, and incapacitation of cyber criminals. The first global conference on cyber security capacity building comes right on time. It is vital for all of us to collaborate and support each other with the resources, expertise, and skills. All nations and organizations can and must take their responsibility to protect our global cyberspace. Between innovation, capacity building, awareness, and mobilization of funds to arm themselves against cyber crime and to strengthen the protection of their data, African companies and institutions must rethink their global strategies, supported by public authorities, which structure regional initiatives on background of increasing pressure. The consequences of cybercrime are enormous on personal, economic, and institutional level. Lives are devastated, economies strained, regimes destabilized, communities piled against each other. Your Excellencies, the recent attacks against the African Union Commission have made us aware of our vulnerability and the need to strengthen our technical, institutional, and human capacities to increase our level of resilience. We continue to suffer the consequences of these hostile acts. Directed against our Pan-African institution. To protect ourselves against new attacks of all kinds, we have undertaken, among other things, the construction of a data center to house and secure all our data, the strengthening of the capacities of technicians and engineers, the acquisition of equipment for protection and prevention against certain attempts in the cyberspace. Raising staff awareness for responsible use of tools is also an important factor that has been considered. Certain emerging technologies can also be an opportunity, such as artificial intelligence, to address the cybersecurity in our organizations. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, such meetings are opportunities to call to collective mobilization. That is, governments, industrialists, research centers, civil society, all of us, we must come together in order to protect ourselves against this scourge, which unfortunately is constantly growing. We will continue to emphasize the strengthening of African capacities, increased cooperation between states, and the mobilization of African domestic resources to promote a digital and resilient Africa, capable of producing content and securing it, in line with the objectives of the Agenda 2063 of the Union, the Africa we want. The African Union Commission is open to any institutional arrangements to jointly address the challenges of today and tomorrow for the betterment of our people. I would like to finish by expressing our support of the outcomes of this conference, including the Accra Call that aim to promote free, open, and secure digital world. And I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Dr. Monique Nzanza Baganwa of the AU and the Deputy Chairperson of the AU Commission. And of course, in line with that also, I find it the right time to mention that we're joined by the Chair of the African Union Cybersecurity Expert Group in the person of Mr. Abdul Hakim Adijola joining us here today. And I also want to say a very big welcome and thank you for being here, the Ghana Domain Name Registry's Mr. Nana Kofi Asafo Edu. Thank you so much, sir, for also joining us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, setting the tone for the words that will be shared on behalf of His Excellency the President, allow me to bring to you a short documentary.
Ghana's pre-independence history dates to the 9th century and is traced to one of the great kingdoms in the beloved Al Sudan region, with very peaceful and contented people who lived sustainably with nature under the leadership of chiefs and kings. When the Europeans first docked the shores of Ghana, they named it the Gold Coast. The country was abundantly rich in gold. The country's colonial narrative is traced to 1471 with trade and commerce as key features. On the 6th of March 1957, Ghana became the first West African country to gain independence under its first president, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
At long last, the battle has ended. Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever.
On July 1st, 1960, Ghana became a republic and has since gone through different leadership and political administrations. The diversity in our enviable geography and climate presents diverse opportunities in various sectors. These have been the driving force in the country's economy since independence. In a rapidly evolving digitalized world, Ghana has ambitiously pursued this goal with a focus on modernizing and digitizing various sectors of the economy. In 2017, the government launched the Digital Ghana Agenda with the aim of leveraging technology to improve public service, promote e-commerce, and enhance digital inclusion. To safeguard the gains made, Ghana's 7th Parliament passed the country's landmark Cybersecurity Act 2020, Act 1038, to chart the course for the development of cybersecurity in Ghana.
Cybersecurity issues are therefore now firmly national security threats. Our country cannot fully reap the digital dividends associated with our adoption of ICT as a means of our socio-economic transformation if we fail to mitigate both existing and emerging cybersecurity threats.
The Ministry, in collaboration with UNICEF and other partners, will organize cybercrime and cybersecurity sensitization workshops across selected schools in all the 10 regions. A workshop on cybercrime, cybersecurity, and electronic evidence will also be organized in collaboration with the Council of Europe for selected members of Parliament and judges of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal.
In October 2021, the Cybersecurity Authority, CSA, was established to regulate cybersecurity activities, to promote the development of cybersecurity in the country, and to provide for related matters.
The President directed the Ministry of Communications to oversee Ghana's cybersecurity development, and that was an important direction from the Presidency regarding Ghana's cybersecurity activities. Secondly, the President also signed the African Union Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection, and this happened in Addis Ababa during the Heads of Government meeting in Ethiopia. Third, the Ministry of Communications established the National Cybersecurity Secretariat within the ministry based on the directive from the President.
The Cybersecurity Authority, as a regulator of Ghana's cyberspace, has since March 1st, 2023, commenced the process of licensing cybersecurity service providers, CSPs, and accrediting cybersecurity establishments, CEs, and cybersecurity professionals, CSPs. The rationale for the licensing and accreditation exercise is to ensure compliance with Act 1038, as well as provide a streamlined mechanism for ensuring that cybersecurity service providers, cybersecurity establishments, and cybersecurity professionals in the country executed their duties in accordance with approved international best practice.
CSA is currently implementing several regulatory activities, including the licensing of cybersecurity service providers, accreditation of cybersecurity establishments, and also cybersecurity professionals. For the first time in the history of this country, we have records of the number of cybersecurity service providers, number of cybersecurity facilities, and cybersecurity professionals who are operating in the country through the licensing and accreditation process, which commenced 6 months ago. As at the end of September 2023, a total of 134 institutions have registered to apply for license as cybersecurity service providers.
Ghana's focus on cybersecurity has evolved over the years. ITU Global Cybersecurity Index rating is as follows. In 2017, Ghana scored 32.6% and ranked 10th in Africa and 87th globally. In 2020, Ghana scored 86.69%, ranked 3rd in Africa and 43rd globally. Ghana's cybersecurity readiness is rated 43rd globally and 3rd in Africa. This is the dawn of a new day, You are welcome to Ghana, to a people with rich culture tapestry, enduring spirit, and unwavering commitment to progress. We stand as a testament to the vibrant and diverse heritage of this remarkable continent, and our stories continue to inspire and captivate the world.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, please allow me first of all to mention that immediately after the words or the speech coming from, well, on behalf of His Excellency the President, the Accra Call will be signed here on the stage. Immediately after, I will ask some of our VIPs to join for a photo moment. May I kindly request that after the photo moment, we not leave this hall, this auditorium, because immediately after we move into the second plenary. So kindly just go over it again. The Honorable Senior Minister will speak on behalf of His Excellency the President, after which the Accra Call will be signed. Once the Accra Call is signed, I'll invite the VIPs onto the stage to take a few photos. Please remain seated. After that, His Excellency's representative will leave us, and then we move into the second plenary, kindly. Ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding round of applause, here to represent His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, please welcome the Honorable Senior Minister and Presidential Advisor, Mr. Yao Osako Mafo.
Good morning. I stand on the existing protocol established by the Minister for Communication and Digitalization to save time for all of us. His Excellency the President sent his apologies for his inability to be part of this important conference. He has to be away from the country for pre-arranged meetings. I would like to warmly welcome you all to Accra and wish you the best. The digitalization of economies, governments and societies have been a transformative process that has led to numerous benefits which have in turn contributed significantly to our socio-economic development. Unfortunately, as technology advances, so do cyber threats, making it imperative for state and non-state actors to build the relevant skills, knowledge, and infrastructure needed to safeguard our digital assets, investments in information communication technologies, and other digitalization initiatives. This distinguished guest must be a collective concern of all. That is why I'm happy that the event has been organized to share ideas and build capacity towards a safe and resilient ecosystem globally. To this end, we must applaud the efforts of the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, GFCE, the Cyber Peace Initiative, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, and Ghana's Cyber Security Authority for putting together such a timely conference and for selecting Ghana as a suitable host for the maiden edition of the global conference. This was through a competitive bidding process among a myriad of possible hosts, leading to Ghana's selection on April 18, 2023, through an official request sent to the Minister for Communication and Digitalization. At cabinet level, you would always see Mrs. Ursula Owusu fighting for extra resources for cyber and digitalization. Madam, thank you very much for making us realize that cyber is important and we need to digitalize. There is a joke that BBC stands for British Broadcasting Corporation, but a friend of mine, banker, he gave BBC another interpretation. BBC, in his view, stands for Born Before Computer. He says those of us who are BBC are having difficulty coping with the rest of the world. Now digitalization is coming in, but it comes in the wake of other threats. And I think that looking at the capacities we have in this room today, if we take steps to network, we have enough knowledge to share to make it easy for other countries to progress very fast. We need not invent a wheel. Some of you are very experienced, some of you are very well exposed in things related to cyber. There are other new countries like Ghana coming. We need not do all the research you have done to be able to make use of what you know. We should network to make these available. Distinguished guests, we must acknowledge the pivotal role that cyber resilience and capacity building can play in advancing the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The agenda underscores our collective commitment to harnessing the power of digital technology to drive progress and development. The World Bank, for example, has been contributing to cybersecurity capacity building through the Global Cybersecurity Capacity Program. Between 2016 and 2019, the World Economic Forum, through the Global Cybersecurity Outlook, has been contributing to cybersecurity conversation by providing extensive research on how the world is responding to cyber threats and what leaders can do to secure their organizations and assets in the years to come. The Cyber Peace Institute has also been doing commendable work in protecting the most vulnerable people in cyberspace. Finally, the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, GFCE, has been undertaking extensive work in cybersecurity capacity through initiatives like the Women in Cyber Fellowship. The African Cyber Experts Community, the GFCE Research Community, and work groups that focus on cybersecurity is also doing a lot of work to assist us overcome criminals associated with cyber attack. As a government, we are pleased with the noticeable success chalked by the Cyber Security Authority, as well as other organizations and stakeholders in the cyber security ecosystem, which has led to this important gathering in our nation's capital, Accra. Due to increased internet penetration and access to ICT tools, cyber criminals are threatening our digital development with brazen boldness, and we cannot afford to be victims. And we can be victims if we do not work hard enough. They are there, they are criminals, and they will do whatever they can to cause us harm, and we should not allow it. Online attacks and cyber crimes intensely the tension between institutions and governments and weaken trust among individuals. The threat landscape has become increasingly volatile. Experienced cyber criminal groups continue to grow and create more sophisticated strategies with tools. The criminals want to be one step ahead, but we should not allow this. These challenges call for the need for governments, businesses, and stakeholders within the cyber ecosystem to collaborate and cooperate, integrating holistic strategies that will address these complex threats. And I said, we have the brain power, we have the expertise, we have the experience. What we need to do is to ensure effective networking so that people need not start all over to do what you have already passed. Ladies and gentlemen, regarding cyber capacity, the World Economic Forum's 2022 edition of the Global Risks Report indicates that there is an undersupply of cyber professionals, a gap of more than 3 million worldwide who can provide cyber leadership, test and secure systems, and offer training on digital hygiene. Building a robust cyber security infrastructure is heavily dependent on building a robust cyber architecture, and we can all agree that this consequentially leads to securing our development efforts. The World Economic Forum notes that these problems are compounded by scarcity of security experts, poor reporting habits, and the lack of global agreements about how to regulate cyber threats. We must regulate this. How do we go about it? This is evident that we need to have a deeper understanding of how to implement the existing best cyber hygiene practices and cyber norms, and engage in holistic conversation and debates on the issue. As a country, we are putting in place deliberate mechanisms to safeguard our digital infrastructure. This is evident by the passage of the Cybersecurity Act of 2020, Act 2010-38, with relevant provisions to regulate cybersecurity. As a groundbreaking regulatory activity, the Cybersecurity Authority has commenced the process of licensing, as it showed on the phone, the providers of the service and those who are in this area. We need to know who can assist, where are they located, and what is the nature of the practice they are putting up. We don't want a situation where they themselves turn out to be problematic. We must know who is doing what. I would like to take a minute to commend the visionary leadership of the Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Mrs. Ursula Owusu Ekufo, as the first Director General of the Cyber Security Authority, Dr. Albert Njubo Siakon, for the exceptional work they've done in sanitizing our cybersecurity environment and for pushing Ghana into the technological space and making us use digitalization as a very important part of our economic development. In these times, we definitely have to digitalize to make services that we give to our citizenry quick and reliable. We recently decided to modernize the passport office. There's a long queue of people waiting for something which is a right. To have a passport as a Ghanaian is your right. And I noticed that it changed so many things. Before then, you get the form you must complete to get a passport. You go there and they will tell you the form is finished. Come next week, and you may go up and down for some time. Now it is done online. So it eliminated go and come. So the moment you will digitalize, you use technology to even fight corruption. Because all the corruption associated with getting a passport is now gone because of digitalization. We've done the same thing for the driving license. To get a driving license in Ghana was a Herculean task. It is no more because of digitalization. Because now you are doing all the applications online. And I think we should move in that direction. The outcome of documents will call for the elevation of cyber resilience in international and national development agenda. I am reliably informed that this document will outline concrete actions that will strengthen the role of cyber resilience in enabling and accelerating sustainable development. These actions are expected to promote cyber capacity building that effectively serves the needs of developing countries as we embrace digital transformation as a cornerstone of economic development. There should be more talking between the developed countries and developing countries on cyber capacity building. We need it because we can then grow faster and develop faster than we are doing at the moment. As I said, we do have to invent a wheel. We've already done it, and we need to get access to it. Ladies and gentlemen, the call will further place emphasis on the need for strong partnership, demand-driven capacity building, and diversified financial resources to address the increasing threats posed by cybersecurity risks, with a goal to enhance coordination, promote collaboration, and mobilize resources to achieve comprehensive cyber capacity building, contributing to a safer and more resilient digital future for all. I hope that we all support the outcome document as a framework for addressing both national and international cyber capacity building challenges. I look forward to the outcome of the declaration that we merge at the end of this two-day workshop, and I entreat you all to contribute positively to the document to ensure that it contributes positively to global cybersecurity efforts. I also hope that you will take the time to explore Ghana's tourist attractions and the hospitality and culture we offer you. Madam Chairperson, before I end my speech, I want to state emphatically that Ghana endorses the Accra Call for Cyber Resilience Development, an action framework. Thank you for your attention.
The Honourable Minister will now sign the Accra Call. May I ask the Honourable Minister for Communications and Digitalization to join Mrs. Ursula Ewusu Ekuful, also the Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority. Kindly support our Senior Minister and Presidential Advisor in this momentous occasion. So I believe that the Accra Call is ready for signing. The Honourable Senior Minister may take his seat in the middle. And the DG is handing the marker over to him. The Honourable is showing him where it shall be signed. I hope you're enjoying my commentary. Ladies and gentlemen, in 3, 2, 1, the Accra Call has been signed. In this moment, can I sincerely request Honourable Ministers, if you could kindly take center stage, and I would like to invite our partners to join in this moment to take a picture. Kindly remain center stage. Can I ask Mr. Chris Painter, Mr. Pierre Laporte representing World Bank, Mr. Akshay Joshi representing World Economic Forum, Madame Francesca Bosco, Cyber Peace Institute, please join us. Please also join us, Madam Alison Chappelle, Mr. Matthew Wong, Ms. Manon Leblanc, Mr. Osmani, please join us for this moment. With the Accra Call, I'm also going to respectfully request our Osumanche to also join in this moment. Osumanche, with respect, kindly please join us. I'll ask my brother here who is supporting with protocol, Blagoji, if you can assist us with this very important photo. Please, CSA Board, please join us. CSA Board, please join us. Mr. Saki and Madam Adelaide also come and join us.
Can I also have representatives of JCC? Representatives of JCC, please join us. Representatives of JCC, please join us. I'm also going to ask respectfully our friends, our partners from the diplomatic community, South African High Commission, Canadian High Commission, Swiss High Commissioner, please join us. German High Commissioner, please join us for this momentous photo with the Accra call. Our friends, our partners, our allies. Cyber ambassadors, please join us for this photo. Cyber ambassadors, please join us for this photo. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the rest, may I kindly ask that you remain seated as this photo around the Accra call is being taken. Our cyber ambassadors, please join us. Cyber ambassadors, please join us. This is a momentous moment in Ghana's history, Accra's history. Please take your positions. In a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen, as this photo is being acknowledged, may I also acknowledge the heads of institutions. Gambian Minister, our Gambian Minister, please join us. Gambian Minister. And VIPs in the front seat, Liberia. Honorable Amapoma, please join us. Macedonia, kindly please join us. Macedonia, please join us. Thank you very much. Macedonia, please join us. Ethiopia, we have our representatives from Ethiopia here joining us, please. My team here is helping me mention all the important names, so if I haven't mentioned your name with respect, I ask you for forgiveness. VIPs, please join us. VIPs, MP Sam George, may I ask you to go in there? He is camera shy. Macedonia, Ethiopia, Gambia, Liberia. Please, VIPs, I may have overlooked you, forgive me, but please join in this photo, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to acknowledge that today we have been joined by the Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Gambia, Mr. Osman Ba, Minister of Technology and Science, Zambia, the Felix Chipota Mutati, Minister for Communications, Liberia, Honorable Warlier Sawe Duna, Ambassador Embassy of Hungary in Accra, Honored Excellency Tamas Andre Feher, Federal Department of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador of Switzerland to Ghana. Of course, you know Mrs. Simone Giger, Ambassador of Turkey to Ghana, in the person of Mr. Hussein Dangor. Please, at this moment, a few photos are being taken. The Honorable Minister, Senior Minister representing the President of the Republic will now take leave of us. Please remain seated. Please remain seated. The Honorable Minister will take leave of us, but please remain seated. Please remain seated. Our Minister from Zambia, I would like to acknowledge you. Minister from Zambia, Minister of Technology and Science, Honorable Mutati, I would like to acknowledge you. Thank you very much for your presence here today. In a few minutes, we move into the second plenary. Please remain seated. We want to say a big thank you to our JCC, Joint Cybersecurity Committee. Thank you so much for joining us today. Mr. Peter Opata, Joint Intelligence Committee, you were here as well. Thank you. The Ministry and Agency Heads, Mr. Alex Yao Apple, Chief Director, Minister of Communications and Digitalization, also joined us today. Thank you so much. In a few seconds, the Honorable Senior Minister will take leave of us. kindly note that during our coffee break coming up shortly, we kindly ask you to take a look at our exhibition booth, and we also humbly ask you to do so during the lunch break. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can take our seats to proceed with the second part of our plenary, may I kindly request us to take our seats as we haven't yet concluded our ceremony this morning. May I kindly request for you to take your seats as we proceed with the program this morning. Thank you very much. May I kindly request that we take our seats for the second plenary. Second plenary is about to begin. A moment in time, pleasantries being exchanged as the exciting Accra call has just been signed. Here in Accra, Ghana, and if you're capturing this moment, capture it on social media with the hashtag GC3B23. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now moving into our second plenary. Please take your seats. Second plenary, kindly with respect, I ask you to please take your seats. Our second plenary is about to begin. Please kindly take your seats. Please allow me also to acknowledge the board chairman, Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority, Mundia Muya, is also here with us. I know that we can hear this loud and clear on our national television. We acknowledge the presence of Mundia Muya, board chairman, Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority. Also, Director General of ZICTA, Chulwi A. Nalu Bamba, joining us here today in Accra as we beam live on GTV and Joy FM, as well as live on all social media platforms. May I kindly ask our VIPs to take their seats. Thank you. May I kindly request our VIPs to take their seats. Understandably, an exciting moment in Accra, an exciting moment in Ghana. We do have our second plenary. Our second plenary is starting now. May I kindly ask the Honorable Minister, Honorable Ministers, our wonderful VIPs to please take your seats for our second plenary. Kindly take your seats for our second plenary, starting now. Ladies and gentlemen, to bring the room to attention, may I have a resounding round of applause for the Accra call. A little louder than that would be nice. All right. Please take your seats. Without wasting more time, please allow me to bring to the podium for the series of statements by high levels and officials. Please allow me to say that each statement will be 3 minutes long. I say this respectfully. Please welcome from North Macedonia, Her Excellency Miss Slavica Grakowska, who is the Deputy Prime Minister on Good Governance.
Esteemed colleagues from the government of Ghana, dear host of this event, GFC partners, dear experts and participants, it is a great pleasure to be here today at the plenary session of the Global Conference on Cybersecurity Capacity Building. As the Deputy President of the government of North Macedonia, a country that became the 103rd member of the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise last year, I am honored to participate and represent my state in such a critical dialogue, because these events are contributing to the shaping the future of cyber capacities and cybersecurity, which are decisive for the future of the world in general. The gaps and unequal development, both within a specific society and between different countries in the world, are a bitter reality which we are trying to overcome through the realization of the global development goals and respective national development policies. And in all individual and collective efforts to reduce disparities in socio-economic development, it is extremely important to incorporate the cyber policies. Because on one hand, digitization helps to accelerate development and make more significant steps towards improving services and standards for citizens in less developed countries. But on the other hand, the regression or stagnation in this field becomes an additional complicating and undermining factor for all other development policies. Our world is becoming increasingly digital, and new types of challenges are added to the existing ones. Many of these challenges, especially in terms of cybersecurity, are shared and require a shared response. No country can tackle these challenges alone. The global nature of cyberspace demands that we work together, exchange knowledge and best practices, develop a shared understanding on cybersecurity, and support each other along the way. Because no matter how developed each country is, we are all facing the same challenges and the same risks regarding cyberspace, and we should have the same way resolving them. That is why a coordinated approach is needed. That's why I'm pleased to see that this conference brings together a diverse group of participants from around the world to explore the cyber capacity building opportunities. This is an excellent occasion for us to share our experiences and identify ways to cooperate towards fulfilling our common goals. Having all this in mind, I expect that the messages that will emerge from this global conference will have a global impact in a way that will encourage broad action by all stakeholders in the direction of the effective inclusion of cyber capacity building in the development goals and agendas at the national and international level. What is particularly important to bear in mind is that this linking of policies must be appropriate to the needs of the citizens in developing countries as a precondition to achieve the desired effect on the development and growth. From the point of view of a government representative, I will emphasize that the key is building a broad, not only political, but social consensus at the national level for the need of a great investments in appropriate technical capacities and infrastructure for training human resources with the necessary knowledge and qualifications, for improving the overall level of digital skills, and for increasing the awareness on cybersecurity issues. Because we ourselves know best our own priorities and weaknesses. In North Macedonia, we did this through the preparation of a concept of digital transformation of society, from which all concrete policies now derive and for which I insisted to be linked to the embedding of good governance policy in the system. And this is essential so that we can have a comprehensive approach that contributes to the development of the country. And, but not less important, if needs and prioritized or are well conceptualized, it will lead to appropriate coordination of donor aid and its use in the most efficient possible way. And only in this way we can contribute to the global cyber-resilient development. I believe that our international partnership must not be reduced only by financial support provided by developed to less developed countries. It is crucial that we all actively engage in these processes by lending our expertise and experiences to help others enhance the cyber security capacities, and at the same time to stand ready to learn from others and collaborate on joint projects and initiatives. And global GFC is actually a perfect opportunity for that. I would like to wish you all a successful and productive conference, which will provide a global guidance to strengthening cybersecurity and building resilience in confronting the numerous cyber challenges ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of Telecommunications and ICT from Cook Islands, His Excellency Mr. Tinjika Elikana, who is also Associate Minister responsible for Justice, Finance, Economic Management, Foreign Affairs and Immigration. Please welcome His Excellency Mr. Tinjika Elikana.